In a world where modern wheat is just everywhere, dominating our fields, our kitchens, it feels like there's this quiet revolution happening. It turns out sometimes the oldest things can actually be the newest, maybe even the healthiest
That's
choices.
a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Like we're rediscovering something vital by looking back.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're going to dive into today. We're focusing on ancient grains. Specifically, we're looking at Einkorn, Emmer, which you might know as Khapli in India, and Khorasan, which often gets called Kamuti.
Right. And our mission here really is to explore the heritage behind them, their unique nutritional aspects, and what really sets these three ancient wheats apart from each other.
Yeah, think of this as your shortcut to understanding why these grains are making such a comeback. We want to help you figure out which one might be the best fit for your diet, your taste, maybe even your values.
It's about making informed choices.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. What exactly makes these grains ancient compared to the regular modern wheat we all, see constantly? Is it just that they're old?
Well, age is part of it, but the ancient label really boils down to their genetics. It's about how little they've been changed through selective breeding over thousands of years. Think of it like comparing, say, an original heirloom tomato to a modern hybrid designed for shipping.
Okay, that makes sense. So genetically, what are we talking about? What's the difference?
Well, a really key thing is the chromosome count. Take einkorn, creticum monococcum. It's believed to be the oldest wheat we know of that was cultivated, going back maybe 10,000 years. And it has this really simple genetic structure. It's diploid. There's 14 chromosomes.
Wow, 14. Diploid, meaning two sets, right?
Exactly, two sets. Very much like the wild grasses it originated from. It's incredibly basic, genetically
Yeah,
speaking.
1,000 years. That's just mind-boggling. Truly the original.
It really is. Then you've got Emmer, Triticum dicoccum, and Khorasan, Triticum tyrannicum. Now, these are tetraploid grains.
Tetraploid, so four sets.
Four sets, yeah. So they have 28 chromosomes. They're also ancient, definitely staples in early civilizations, but they represent a step up in genetic complexity from einkorn.
Okay, and how does that stack up against, like, the flour I buy at the supermarket?
Well, that's where the big difference lies. Most modern wheat is hexaploid, 6 sets of chromosomes adding up to 42. It's the result of much more complex hybridization, often aimed at yield or specific baking properties. So this relative genetic simplicity in einkorn, emmer, and Khorasan is a huge part of why they're distinct, why they've kept so much of their original character.
That difference in the genes really explains a lot. It's not just marketing. Okay, so knowing that foundation, let's zoom in on each one. Einkorn first, the oldest. What's the standout feature people should know about Einkorn?
Well, beyond just being the oldest, its nutrition is pretty impressive. It often packs more protein than modern wheat. And it's really rich in certain micronutrients, things like lutein, which is great for eye health, specifically plus zinc, iron, vitamin A precursors. It's quite nutrient dense.
Lutein for eyes, that's interesting, and it's supposed to be better for blood sugar too.
Yes, it generally has a lower glycemic response, which helps keep blood sugar levels more stable.
Right. And then there's the gluten question. Everyone always asks about gluten. How does Einkorn fit in?
It's a really important point. Einkorn does contain gluten, so it is absolutely not gluten-free. Let's be clear on that. But the gluten it has is minimal and structurally simpler compared to modern wheat. This means some people, especially those with non-celiac gluten sensitivity, might find it easier to digest.
Simpler structure,
Okay?
but not for celiacs.
Definitely not for celiacs. And another key thing is that it's minimally hybridized. It stayed very close to its original form. Flavor-wise, it's got this lovely, mildly sweet and nutty taste.
So what's it good for? Baking.
Yeah, it's fantastic for more delicate things. Think pancakes, cookies, flatbreads. It also makes wonderful artisan breads, either using 100% einkorn flour or maybe incorporating it into a sourdough.
Einkorn pancakes sound amazing. And it's good for the environment too, I read.
It can be, yes. It tends to grow well even in drier, less fertile soils, which means it often needs less fertilizer. That supports more sustainable farming.
Okay, fascinating. Let's move on to Emmer,
Yeah.
also known as Khapli in India. What's its story?
So emmer is one of those tetraploid grains we mentioned, 28 chromosomes. It was a huge staple food in ancient places like Egypt and the Fertile Crescent, and it's still grown today, particularly in parts of India, where it's called Khapli, and also in Italy, often called farro medio, though farro can be confusing as it sometimes refers to einkorn or spelt too.
Right, the pharaoh name can be tricky. Nutritionally, what does Emmer bring?
Emmer is really high in fiber, which is great for digestion. It's also a good source of magnesium and iron, and it's packed with antioxidants. And like einkorn, it generally has that lower glycemic index, helping with blood sugar management.
And the gluten, how does it compare?
It's sort of in the middle. The gluten is definitely more substantial than an einkorn, giving it more structure for baking, but it's often described as gentler or less problematic for some people than the gluten in modern wheat.
Interesting. And I heard it has connections to traditional medicine.
Yes, particularly in Ayurveda. It's often favored for supporting digestion and metabolism. And in India, it's quite valued, especially in diabetic communities, precisely because of that potential for better glycemic control.
That cultural link is really strong. So what does it taste like? How would you use it?
Emmer has a more robust flavor than einkorn.
Yeah.
It's often described as earthy, maybe a little chewy when cooked as whole berries. It's really versatile for savory dishes. Think grain salads, hearty pilafs, adding it to stews, or using the flour for rustic breads.
Okay, grain salads. Any specific ideas?
Oh, definitely. Try using pearled emmer, where some of the bran is removed so it cooks faster as a base.
Mm.
Toss it with some roasted root vegetables, maybe some feta cheese, fresh herbs, a lemon vinaigrette. It's fantastic. Chewy, satisfying, flavorful.
That sounds genuinely delicious. Right, third one, Khorasan. Many people know this as Kamuti, right?
Exactly. Khorasan is another ancient tetraploid grain, also with 28 chromosomes. It's known for its particularly large kernel, sometimes called Pharaoh's wheat or prophet's wheat, though the history there is a bit legendary. The name Kamut is actually a registered trademark. It guarantees that the Khorasan wheat sold under that brand is always organically grown and meets certain quality standards, like being high in protein and selenium and hasn't been hybridized or modified.
Ah, so Kamuti is like a quality guarantee for Khorasan wheat. Makes sense. What are its nutritional highlights?
Khorasan really shines in its protein content. It's often significantly higher than common wheat. It's also a fantastic source of selenium, which is a vital antioxidant mineral, plus zinc and magnesium. It's quite rich in essential fatty acids, too. Because it's such a dense grain, it provides really sustained energy release.
So good for athletes, maybe.
Yes, it's quite popular for that reason, and just generally for anyone looking for a really nutrient-dense whole grain option.
Okay, and where does it land on the gluten scale compared to einkorn and emmer?
It's generally considered higher in gluten than both einkorn and emmer. However, similar to emmer, some people report that they tolerate Khorasan better than conventional modern wheat, despite the higher protein and gluten levels. The structure might be different, but again, it's not gluten-free.
Right, always the important caveat. What about taste and cooking?
Khorasan has this wonderful, rich, almost buttery, nutty flavor. It's incredibly versatile. It makes amazing pasta, really holds its shape well. It's also great in pilafs, hearty breads, hot cereals. You can even get cracked Khorasan, which is brilliant for making homemade granola or adding texture to breads.
Pasta and granola. Sounds very usable. Any insights from growers? Is it easy to farm?
Well, being organically grown is often a focus, especially for the Kamut brand. The larger seeds can make harvesting and processing a bit easier in some ways. Like the other ancient grains, it tends to be quite hardy.
It's almost funny, isn't it? These ancient varieties, sometimes they're actually more resilient or easier in certain ways than the highly developed modern ones. Makes you wonder what we've been optimizing for all this time.
It does raise questions about resilience versus just sheer yield, doesn't it?
Definitely. Okay, so let's pull all this fantastic information together. What does it all mean for us today? Why this big resurgence now? What's the so what?
Yeah, that's the crucial question. I think there are about 5 key reasons why these ancient grains really matter today, why they're having this renaissance. First, it's the nutritional advantages. We've touched on this, but compared to a lot of modern refined wheat products, these grains are often packed with more protein, fiber, essential minerals, antioxidants. They're just more nutrient dense, generally speaking.
So better nutrition bang for your buck, basically.
Unwatch, yeah. Second, digestibility. We've talked about the gluten simpler structures in einkorn, maybe slightly different structures in emmer and khorasan. For some non-celiac individuals, this might mean fewer digestive issues compared to modern wheat, again, with the big caveat that they do contain gluten.
Okay, so potentially gentler for some. What's their?
Flavor and culinary variety. This is huge. They just taste different and often really good. You get that delicate nuttiness from einkorn. Imagine those pancakes again, maybe with wildflower honey biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Then the hearty, earthy chewiness of emmer, perfect for that salad we talked about. And the rich, buttery flavor of khorasan, think fantastic pasta or that homemade granola. They add whole new dimensions to cooking.
They really do sound like they bring unique character to dishes. It's not just swapping one flour for another.
Not at all. Fourth is environmental sustainability. Because they're often hardier, more traditional strains, they frequently need fewer inputs, less water, less fertilizer. They can thrive in conditions where modern wheat might struggle. This promotes biodiversity in our fields and supports more resilient farming, which is incredibly important with climate change concerns.
That resilience factor seems key. And the fifth reason.
I think it's about cultural connection. Cooking with and eating these grains connects us back quite literally to thousands of years of human history and agriculture. There's a sense of heritage there, of tapping into ancient nutritional wisdom.
That's a powerful idea. So, just to quickly recap the main differences for someone trying to choose. Einkorn, simplest genetics, diploid. Lowest, simplest gluten, mild, nutty flavor, good source of lutein. Emmer. Tetraploid, moderate gluten, earthy, chewy flavor, high in fiber, Ayurvedic connection. Khorasan. Also tetraploid, higher gluten, but maybe tolerated. Rich, buttery flavor, high in protein and selenium. Is that about right?
That's a great summary, yeah.
Yeah.
Captures the key distinctions really well.
And if someone's thinking, hey, maybe I could grow some, or even just wants to find them, any quick tips?
Well, the good news is their adaptability. They often do well in varied soils and climates, which makes them suitable for organic farming or even a determined home gardener. Seeding rates are generally similar to modern wheat, maybe a bit higher for einkorn because the seeds are smaller. They have hardy husks, which helps protect the grain during growth and storage. As for finding seeds or flour, look for heirloom seed companies, specialized organic grain suppliers, or farmers markets focusing on local grains.
Great. So the choice really comes down to your own needs, taste, maybe what you value in terms of nutrition or sustainability.
Exactly. It's about finding the grain that resonates most with you.
This has been absolutely fascinating, a real journey back in time, but with so much relevance for today. It's clear these ancient grains are way more than just a passing trend. They feel like these powerful tools for nutrition, for flavor, for a healthier planet, all rooted deep in our history.
Indeed. They offer this tangible link to how our ancestors ate and farmed, reminding us there's incredible wisdom in those older, often simpler, more resilient ways.
It makes you think, what if reconnecting with these ancient foods, choosing a grain like einkorn or emmer or Khorasan with real intention, what if that could do more than just nourish our bodies? Could it deepen our connection to where our food comes from, to agricultural history, maybe even to the earth itself? And it makes you wonder, what other forgotten wisdom is out there just waiting for us to rediscover, hidden in plain sight?
That's a beautiful thought to end on.
We really hope this deep dive inspires you to maybe seek out one of these grains, to explore, to taste, and really experience a little slice of ancient wisdom in your next meal.